Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now, and a hey now. Our number four of the line, Talk 99.5, Talk995.com, AndrewMcLeanWho.com, Real Talk 99.5 TV on YouTube, and Noto Roofing, Noto Roofing.com. Noto Roofing.com. My roofing guys, free roof inspection, complimentary roof tune up. You know all about it. Get on top of it, baby. Get at it, man, because you need your roof checked out. Everybody does. It could be your house, your barn, your rental property, your business. Maybe you own some apartment complexes. Who knows? Who knows what it is? But if it's got a roof, it's got to be checked out. These are the guys to do it. Nobody better in the business. And there's a ton of them. There's a ton of roofing companies out there. Nobody better than Noto. So y'all hit them up. Make sure you tell them you're with me so they know you're part of the Hey Now Nation. They'll take care of you. 205 848 2299. That's 205 848 2299. NotoRoofing.com. So here's what we've gotten. There's actually new information that we haven't heard, believe it or not, that there was, according to the FBI, a deadline on the ransom note. And the deadline was 5 p.m. today. And based on being out in Arizona, they're on mountain time, I believe. Or they don't, yeah, they're on mountain time. Dude, they don't do daylight savings time there either, do they? So they kind
I
of go
don't think
back
in
and
Arizona,
forth.
yeah. Mm-mm.
It is 12:10 p.m. in Arizona. So they have got 4 hours and 50 minutes to meet this deadline according to the ransom note. But the FBI says that that's the first deadline. They said there's a second deadline, which is Monday. And I don't know if that means like, 'cause, I mean, the first deadline's irrelevant if there's a second deadline, unless they're saying you pay us a portion of this ransom by 5 p.m. on Thursday, and then you get the rest of it to us by Monday. But I don't have the details on that. That may be what it is. And the FBI announces a $50,000 reward in the Nancy Guthrie case. Also coming from that. So anyway, let me go through the timeline here. So January 31st, which would have been 5 days ago, 6 days ago. January 31st, Nancy travels to a family's home in the area, local family's home. That's at 5:32 p.m. At 9:48, she comes back home and the family drops her off at her home and the garage door opens. 2 minutes later at 9:50, the garage door closes. Just standard, you get home, you come in through the garage, you close the garage, whatever. On February 1st, just a matter of 2 or 3 hours later at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. And the sheriff said that they don't have the doorbell camera, that they got there and it was just gone. They don't even have possession of it. That was at 1:47 a.m. Then at 2:12 a.m., the software, the camera, I guess the security cameras detects a person on camera, but they have no video available because there was no subscription. So essentially, for those of you that say you have a Ring camera, right? On a Ring camera, you can use it for free, but you can only watch it in real time. But if you have a subscription, which is like $10 a month, you can then go back and watch anything that's happened on your cameras, right? Most of us have those, right? And if you're not subscribed to your cameras, like, what are you doing? That's crazy. It's not going to help you at all unless you just want to talk to the Amazon drivers. They drop a package off. Subscribe to your cameras. Okay, that's at 2:12 a.m. At 2:28 a.m., that would be what, Carrie? A matter of 16 minutes later, the pacemaker app shows it disconnect from her iPhone. And at 11:56 a.m., just hours later, the family checks on Nancy, calls, can't get her, whatever, shows up to the house. And then at 12:03 p.m., I guess at 11:56, they are on the way. They must have been close by because this is just a matter of minutes. Because at 12:03, the 911 call goes in. And then at 12:15, which is 12 minutes later, police arrive to the crime scene. And that's the timeline. That's pretty much what they laid out. And also what they laid out is they are conducting this search as if she's still alive. He said he believes she's still out there. They confirmed the blood is Nancy Guthrie's blood. No surprise there. Although if it wasn't her blood, that would have been pretty helpful, which would have meant the perpetrator cut himself or herself and left blood there. There is no person of interest. There is no suspect. They said everybody is a potential suspect. And so they're interviewing everybody. You know, there's this theory floating out there that it's the son-in-law. They said all the family members are cooperating and have done everything they've asked them to do, which, again, don't have a lot of faith in this sheriff's department, but whatever. They have no video, as I noted. They said the cameras, although the cameras weren't smashed, they just don't have video because there was no subscription to the video service, so they can't go back and watch previous video. The family, they say, will decide the response to the ransom. The family's going to decide to respond to the perpetrator or to pay the ransom or whatever in order to get their mom back. And he was asked about the crime scene itself. Remember, they had the crime scene taped off and they were going through it and everything else. And then they said, well, we're done here. Let's pass it back off to the family. And then in a matter of hours, cops are back at the house. FBI's at the house. They've taped it off yet again. And they start collecting more evidence that they didn't get the first time around. And he said, yeah, we would have done that a little differently. So I'm personally, I mean, I get it. This is a big story. I don't know where else to take it.
I would not feel confident if I was part of the family waiting, for them to find her.
If I've got the money, like this is my mom and I've got the money, just pay the ransom, man. I've spent money on worse stuff. I've spent money on some pretty stupid things.
I think it's all the...
I used to go to the flea market as a kid and buy throwing stars.
You did not.
Yeah, so...
$3 a piece.
Yeah, a couple $1,000,000 on my mama ain't that big a deal.
I think it's the Bitcoin thing that throws them for a loop because they can't trace it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, as a family member, if like that's your mom, I'd probably be like, if she's alive, if I can confirm that she's alive, and if I pay you this, you give her back to me. I don't care. Just whatever. I don't care if they catch her or what. I just want my mom back.
And it's also weird to have a second deadline. And that's just... Is that normal for...
I don't know. The only explanation, because I didn't hear that part of the press conference, but the only explanation for a second deadline would be to, you got to pay this by 5 p.m. and then you got to pay this by next Monday.
That's the only thing that would make sense. If you don't pay by Friday, then, we're going to be really mad, but I'll give you a second chance.
Is a $50,000 reward by the FBI?
I think so, yeah.
Is it a little low? You think it should be higher?
I think it's all right.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money just for information.
Yeah, that's a good point. 50,000 ain't bad. I was just curious. Like, I just wonder how much we would be worth to the FBI.
Oh, they wouldn't they wouldn't look for us
if we were missing.
No,
we wouldn't get $50,000 for information leading to finding us.
You might.
I might.
Yeah, you're a popular radio host.
That's true. I'd get everybody.
Conservative radio host disappears.
I'd have everybody in the audience start chipping in. I'd have them doing super chats on YouTube and sending us money to help find Andrew.
How much?
We do the same for you. If you went missing, I I would get the audience together and do some crowdsourcing.
I'll go ahead and tell you, if I go missing, just consider that I am dead because I have fought. I'm not going to sit there and let them take me. They're going to shoot me in the parking lot.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I'll save the money then.
So you won't have to worry about it.
Well,
Well, it depends on what they look like.
I'll step. Yeah. What does my captor look like? Well, what I'll do is I'll raise the money, and then if you are dead, we'll just take the money and build a statue of you over there where the big boy used to be
And
at the
that'd
end
be
of the
great.
parking lot.
I'd appreciate that. That'd be
It'll
nice.
The Kerry Adams statue, and you will be immortal at Cumulus.
And the first storm that comes by, I blow away.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an awful situation, man. It's just, what do you say about it?
I don't think that sheriff ever thought he would have to do a press conference on
No,
national
man.
TV.
I mean, it's almost like Trish makes me watch Andy Griffith every night. And it's much like it feels like a Mayberry, like Andy and Barney kind of running around in circles trying to get to the bottom of a, local, somebody stole a chocolate bar caper.
Yeah, they need to think about getting a communications director in that department.
Yeah.
Go on and
Or just let the FBI handle it. Cash Patel or Pam Bondi or whatever, I mean, even with their faults, they still probably communicate better than this guy. As to what I don't know. I don't know. It's whatever, man. It's whatever.
it's not looking good. No.
No, it is not. Not at all. All right, 205-545-9950. That's 545-9950. If you want to get in, that's the way to do it. Will segments coming up and much more on this edition of The Line. We'll be back right after this. All right, the text line says, Walter says, first deadline is cut body parts. The second deadline is kill. So they're saying instead of it being a money thing, it's like, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z to Nancy if you don't get it to us by then. And then the next step, which is very morbid. Caleb says, I think the second deadline might have to do with Bitcoin, but I don't know how hard it is to get. I don't have any, and that large of an amount may be hard to get. Yeah, I don't know as far as the transfer of that. I don't know. I mean, being cryptocurrency and being all digital, I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I've dealt a little bit with crypto, but not to the tune of millions of dollars. I mean, it seems like it would seem it would be like the equivalent of sending something on Cash App, I would assume, but I have no idea. Boomer says I'd chip in $20 for either one of you. There you go, Carrie. There's $20 right there on the top.
That's good to know.
Mike says, is it possible that whoever is responsible had some way of knowing that the ring didn't have the ability to see the older footage? Just a thought. Well, yeah, I mean, if it was this theory about the son-in-law, I mean, if it was somebody that knew Nancy and it was somebody in the family, that it is very possible that there was the knowledge that she didn't have a subscription. Taylor says, you ain't got nothing to worry about, Andrew. Richard the cop would find you. I think that's probably true. I think Richard the cop likes me enough to hunt me down. Bubba Rumble says, the kidnappers have payment plans? Do they have a customer service department too? That is, everybody's got a payment plan these days. I mean, even DoorDash. Didn't they team up with like Affirm or something to where you could order DoorDash on credit and then pay it off over time?
I think I saw that.
If you
payment plans.
If you are doing a payment plan for DoorDash, you deserve to be slapped right in the face. I'm already against doing DoorDash if you've got your own vehicle and the ability to go pick it up. Like, I'm 100% against it. Now, there's circumstances, maybe you got a house full of kids or you don't have a car or whatever. That I get. But if you can drive 10 minutes down the road and get DoorDash, pick up your food and you're using DoorDash, somebody needs to slap you across the head. This one says, don't get stuffed in a trunk, John for Carrie. I don't know if I got that reference. Just saying, don't get stuffed in a trunk. And Derek says, great bumper song. Yeah. Who was that? How far down do you want to go?
The Refreshments, Benditos.
You know, like a tall cup of joe, you can look deep into my eyes like I was a supermodel. All right, so now we got, and I know we're up against the clock, Carrie, but let's dip into this for a moment. We got Caroline Levitt at the press briefing. Let's dip into that.
Will officially unveil Trump RX, a state-of-the-art website for America.
Okay. All right, so there's Caroline.
Okay, so we're not going to carry that. Apparently, we'll stick with what we got. We got a break coming up anyway. So if she brings up, I was kind of interested if they were going to talk about the Nancy Guthrie thing, which I don't know that she would talk about it in her pre-speech or whatever, but she'll probably get questions about it. Now I'll just keep our eye on it. That way we can stick with the Willis segments and everything else and see how all that goes. Let me tell you about Chuck Davis. Can I do that? ChuckDavisLaw.com. ChuckDavisLaw.com. My personal attorney, Chuck Davis. Looking out for you, man. Divorce, custody. By the way, Valentine's Day is coming up, and if you're going through divorce and custody, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I hope you got a side piece because this Valentine's Day ain't going to be much fun. But I can alleviate that a little bit if you get with Chuck Davis because you're going to have some peace of mind knowing that you got somebody fighting for you on that front. A lot of times, divorces aren't cordial. They're just not. You know, either one side or both sides are acting crazy. That's 90% of the cases. If you got a cordial one and y'all don't even need an attorney, God bless you. I genuinely am happy for you. But most of y'all are not going to have that luxury. If you got a divorce going on or you're thinking that one's coming down the pipe, go ahead and get out in front of it. That's probably the best advice. Is somebody that's been divorced. That's the best advice I can give you. Get out in front of it. Don't get caught flat-footed because they'll try to nail you to the wall real fast and in a hurry. But it's serious. You got to have somebody on your side that's going to fight for you. That's what Chuck does. Also, personal injury, wrongful death, slip and fall, car wrecks, whatever it is. If you've been hurt or somebody's lost their life because of somebody else's negligence, you're probably owed a lot of compensation, and you're not going to get it unless you actually get with an attorney that's going to, file that stuff for you and stick up for you and get you the best possible outcome. That's Chuck. Probate, contracts, wills. If you don't have your wills done, so important for you, your parents, your grandparents. Make sure everybody you know's got their wills done. Call Chuck, and he can get you handled on all those fronts. 205-823-9992. It's 205-823-9992. ChuckDavisLaw.com. No representation is made that the legal services provided are superior to the legal services provided by other lawyers. Underdog Fantasy, UnderdogFantasy.com, and the Underdog Fantasy app. You may say to yourself, Andrew, why do you keep talking about Underdog? Well, that's because I love Underdog. That's right. I'm in a relationship with Underdog, and we love each other. If Underdog didn't love me, why is Underdog giving me money? Right? Why is Underdog sending me money? I get my picks right, they send me money. It's that easy. And it's real money. It's not fake money. It's not Bitcoin. It's not crypto. It's real money that you put in your bank account and then you go spend. You spend it on your... Listen, you hit it big for the big game between the Pats and the Seahawks. You can take your girlfriend or your wife somewhere really nice. All you got to do is get your picks right. But the first thing you got to do is you got to download the app. Free to download, free to sign up. And don't forget, this is the most important part, actually. Use my promo code HEYNOW, all one word, HEYNOW, and you're going to score $75 in bonus fantasy entries. $75, man? Come on. You can't beat that, dude. So hook it up, make your picks for the big game, get your picks right, win yourself some money. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code HEYNOW to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code HEYNOW. Underdog make plays, win money. Must be 19 or older and present in Alabama. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. A lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, including grand jury testimony out of Georgia showing that Brian Kemp, the governor, stopped the 2020 election investigation. I've got stuff like the ShamWow guy who's running for Congress. I got stuff out of Minneapolis. I got all kinds. And I'll have to get to a bunch of it tomorrow, but that's fine. You'll be here tomorrow, right? Is everybody going to be with me tomorrow? Good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is time for the Wheel of Segments.
Is that poop?
Is that poop?
What is this? Is this poop? Is it really poop?
When you poop, it smells like a poop. And sometimes it's solid, but sometimes it's goop. When you poop, well, what you eat's in your poop. If you eat alphabet soup, you just might poop the word poop.
What kind of serious conservative news talk radio host has stuff like this playing on his show?
The best one in
Well,
the studio
When it's
right now.
when it's not serious. Well, that's for sure. All right, here we go. This is your time of day where you get to see Kerry on camera, which he hates, but you love. So here we go. Look at his face. He's not excited about that. Trust me, it pays off in the end. I know what I'm doing here. All right. Headline up first. And speaking of Valentine's Day, this may be a good idea for you, Kerry. Maryland Zoo is going to allow you to name a pile of animal poop after your ex.
Really?
You can pay the Maryland Zoo to take a pile of animal-ish and name it after your ex. It's a fundraiser called Dollars for Dung. And all it does is it just costs you a $5 donation. That's it. I think it's genius, actually.
It's actually not a bad idea to raise money.
The Valentine's Day, forget the flowers or chocolate. How about a little dung? This week, Maryland Zoo officials announced a fundraiser called Dollars for Dung. All you have to do is donate $5, and the zoo will name a pile of you-know-what after your ex, sending the donor a PDF certificate to commemorate the occasion. That's amazing.
I hope they stick a sign in the poop at the zoo.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because you got to have a picture of the poop and everything.
This poop is for Nancy.
It says that they can send it, they can post it, they can do whatever. That's according to the zoo chief operating officer, Shannon Brown. Shannon Brown.
How convenient.
Shannon Brown Star is her name. I'm just kidding. That's not it. That's disgusting. She said the money would then be used to fund the zoo's conservation efforts both in Maryland and in native habitats around the globe. She said, quote, "This came out of, grossly enough, like a lunchtime conversation, and it sort of spiraled into this." This is actually the second Valentine's Day that the Maryland Zoo officials have run the Dollars for Dung fundraiser. Last time around, it was a hit. She said, "We received donations from over 30 countries across the world. I think we've touched like all but 2 continents," she said. That led to a total haul of nearly $10,000 that they made. If you'd like to name a pile of animal dung after your stinky ex, you can go to marylandzoo.org/news-update and just go to marylandzoo.org, and then you could just find it from there. This is a long URL. It's not like underdogfantasy.com/web/playinggetterms_DFS_.html.
You got that memorized.
Oh, dude, I did it to my wife the other day. I gave her the whole spiel, the whole legal ID on the Underdog Fantasy thing. She goes, "You really know that by heart?" I was like, "Yeah, I say it all the time." Anyway, so there's that. Dollars for Dung. Y'all get involved in that. And then another story, which it's in the medical world and it continues to pop up. This idea of consuming poop that is apparently so beneficial to your health. We've heard about poop transplants. We've heard about, poop skincare or what, or maybe that was semen. I think that's what that was.
Snail semen.
Yeah, something like that. But this one says, headline, "Poop pills, a game changer for treating cancer." Who would have thought? The medication is really taking care of business, as they say. A pair of new Canadian clinical trials show poop pills can reduce the toxic side effects of cancer medications and even support patient response to immunotherapy. Also known as CRAPSULs, fecal microbiota transplant, FMT, pills contain freeze-dried fecal matter, and according to new research published in Nature Medicine, popping poo may dramatically improve cancer treatment. I mean, it's not that bad if it's in a capsule. You don't have to taste it,
I mean, who sat down and thought, I wonder if we feed people poop, it might help them.
One of the doctors probably doing it on the weekend. He's into some weird kinky spirit cookings, and he's like, "Man, I tell you what, dude. Ever since I started eating poop, I've been feeling great."
I can't believe they gave us this money for this research project. Great.
In the first phase of the latest research round, scientists at the London Health Science Centre Research Institute, the LHSCRI, and the Lawson Research Institute sought to determine whether FMT was safe when combined with an immunotherapy drug used to treat kidney cancer. Analyzing data from 20 patients, the team found that customized FMT may help relieve some of the severe side effects associated with immunotherapy. They said standard treatment for advanced kidney cancer often includes an immunotherapy drug that helps the patient's immune system tackle cancer cells. But unfortunately, the treatment frequently leads to colitis and diarrhea, sometimes so severe that a patient must stop life-sustaining treatment early. If we can reduce toxic side effects and help patients complete their treatment, that will be a game changer. So you're eating poop to stop colitis and diarrhea?
But yet you get diarrhea.
The second phase, led by researchers at the Centre de Recherche du Centre Hospitalier de Université de Montréal. That's all French, by the way. That's called the CRCHUM. The CERCHUM. Evaluated whether FMT could bolster the response to immunotherapy in patients with lung cancer and melanoma. Researchers found that after FMT treatments, 80% of lung cancer patients responded to immunotherapy compared to 39% and 45% among those treated with immunotherapy alone. And 75% of melanoma patients who received FMT responded positively to treatment, compared with only 50 to 58% who received immunotherapy alone. They say our clinical trial demonstrated that fecal microbiota transplant could improve the efficacy of immunotherapy in patients with lung cancer and melanoma. They say FMT's efficacy may be due in part to its ability to eliminate harmful bacteria, suggesting that these results could open the door to personalized microbiome therapies.
And it's out of Canada, right?
Yeah, in France.
That's why I don't trust it. Just eat some yogurt.
Yeah, which, in my opinion, tastes like poop.
Well, yeah, that's true too. Some of it's all right.
I don't like yogurt. I think it, and people like my wife sometimes uses Greek yogurt as sour cream.
Yeah, I don't do that.
That's insane, dude.
You need to have a talk with her about that.
And then people that eat cottage cheese out of the container.
Nah, I've done it every now and then.
Ah, God.
Not
And I
bad.
love cheese, but cottage cheese, bro.
Put on a Ritz cracker.
Ah, bleh, bleh, bleh.
What about caviar? You want some caviar?
I'd eat caviar before I ate cottage cheese.
Interesting.
Gross. And last but not least, might I tell you, this is a story that's been making the rounds, and I'm sure many people have heard it already. But it's going to end up on the wheel of segments, and I'm sure everybody had that thought when they saw it. Headline reads, hospital evacuated after 8-inch World War I artillery shell discovered in patient's butt.
I saw this story and I almost sent it to you, and I said, you know what? I bet Andrew's already on top of it.
Oh, I was on top of it days ago. I put it in the file, and I'm like, come on, is it poop? Let's get that in there, baby. He had some explosive indigestion, as they say. A hospital in France was evacuated after a male patient arrived with a World War I artillery shell lodged in his backside. According to the Bombshell report, the unnamed 24-year-old had been rushed to the Renguel Accident and Emergency Unit in Toulouse late Saturday night. The poor fellow was, quote, in a state of extreme discomfort, having inserted a large object up his rectum, according to an insider source.
You saw the picture, right?
You think that's really it?
I mean, they wouldn't lie, would they?
I mean, it looks like it just came out. Look at that picture. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's it. It says one like this.
It looks like that's the one. They just pulled
Still
it out.
got some poop on it, doesn't it?
It does look like he's got poop on it. Sorry, YouTube, for those I just showed that to. Surgeons conducted emergency surgery during which they discovered the shocking source of his pain, a live 18-inch bombshell from 1918 that had been lodged inside him. Fearing a potential fire in the hole and hospital, medical personnel alerted the bomb squad and fire brigade and evacuated the facility. Meanwhile, a security perimeter was formed around the medical center as authorities investigated the explosive situation. Fortunately, the retro munition, which was also pointed and over an inch wide, was not deemed a threat. Well, I would imagine it didn't have a blunt end to it. Otherwise, how'd you even get in this position? The bomb disposal experts took the shell with them while the patient, a French national, remained at the hospital so he could recover from surgery. It was unclear how the antique ordnance ended up in the man's posterior, but experts suspected the combustible could have been the result of a party stunt gone awry. No, it ain't no twist. What
kind of party are they going to, man?
He was doing some freaky stuff, and he thought he'd be cute.
He fell on it.
They wrote that the medical staff in the hospital are accustomed to treating victims injured during sexual games, which it's France. So the shell-shocked patient is expected to be interviewed by authorities later this week, while prosecutors are considering taking legal action against him for handling Category A munitions. Give the guy a break, dude. Don't charge him.
Put him in jail.
Shells such as the one found in the man's bum were used during the First World War by the Imperial German Army, which deployed hundreds of thousands against the British and French armies across the Western Front between 1914 and 1918. The explosives, which are date-stamped, regularly turn up during the Iron Harvest, the annual collection of often unexploded munitions from both world wars, which are found on farmland, building sites, and other disrupted land. While the person's backside might seem like a strange location for one of them to surface, shockingly, this wasn't the first at a French hospital, and I think I remember doing this story. In 2022, a hospital in France was partially evacuated after an 88-year-old man arrived with a World War I artillery shell similarly lodged in his anus. I remember that story. And this guy's 24. The previous guy was 88. I think the 24-year-old's probably got a better explanation than the 88-year-old does. The 88-year-old probably... Okay, I mean, I guess the 88-year-old could be freaky, too. I don't know. But
Thought it was a suppository.
Don't stick bums up your ass, dude. That's an awful idea. And that's what we call is that poop. Noto Roofing, N-O-T-O, roofing.com, notoroofing.com. Get with my guys at Noto. They are the best of the best roofing company out there, no doubt about it. You can't argue with me on that because I am 100% correct in this assessment. Why? Because they're going to give you a free roof inspection, complimentary roof tune-up. Everything you could ever want with a roofing company is right there in one place. And when you tell them you're part of the Hey Down Nation, they're going to take care of you, man. They've worked at my house, my friends, my family. Everybody I know uses Noto because of the reputation they have. So get in touch with them. Tell them you're with us, 205-848-2299. That's 848-2299 and online, notoroofing.com. Mandu, MANDUU.com. Yeah, baby. I got a Mandu session coming up tomorrow. Get my work at it. It's what gets me pumped up, man. So, like Friday, I've got a podcast, right? We got a podcast Friday night, 6 o'clock. Hope to see you there. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the places, Rumble. But getting my Mandu workout in before we do the podcast really gets me up and going. I'd do Mandu in the mornings before this show if I had time, but I don't. Although, doesn't take much time to do it. 15-minute workout for you, your wife, your family. You'll all get together on this. Get yourself signed up at Mandu, and it will change your life. You'll see results so fast. You'll see your health improve. All 15 minutes with a personal trainer, easy peasy. 438-6003 is the number. 205-438-6003. If you've been on the fence about trying it, now's the time to pull the trigger. You got a free session. Whoever you are, waiting on you. 18 to 80, male, female, doesn't matter. And go to the website, mandu.com, and see about the Huntsville and Tuscaloosa locations. MANDUU.com. Love me some Mandu. I'm out of here. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Back tomorrow with a brand new episode. And until then, see ya, cuz!